Hello and welcome. Now, please listen up. Yes, all of you well-meaning cultural warriors. Have you ever tried so hard to be respectful that you accidentally insulted an entire nation? What if I told you being a foreigner speaking perfect Thai might make some locals think you are calling them stupid? Buckle up, because after decades in Thailand, I am about to shatter everything you think you knew about communication here. Furthermore, trust me, this revelation will save you from more embarrassing moments than you can shake a selfie stick at. The Great Communication Conspiracy. Picture this. You have spent months learning basic Thai phrases, practicing your tones until your neighbours think you are having a nervous breakdown, and you are finally ready to impress the locals with your linguistic prowess. You walk into a 7-Eleven, approach the counter with confidence, and deliver what you believe is a flawless "Sawadee crap, call nam kang nang quad crap. Hello, I would like one bottle of water, please." The response? A confused stare, followed by, "You want water?" in perfectly clear English. Welcome to Thailand, where your noble attempts at cultural integration might just be the most patronising thing you have done all week. The English expectation minefield. Here is what nobody tells you in these glossy expat guides. Many educated Thais, particularly in urban areas, will generally feel insulted if you do not speak to them in English first. Not because they cannot understand Thai, obviously, but because they interpret your Thai attempts as you assuming they are not intelligent enough to handle English. It is like going to a Michelin-starred restaurant and asking if they know how to boil water. Technically polite, practically insulting. I learned this the hard way during my first year in Thailand. I was living in a middle-class neighbourhood, not some tourist trap, and I would diligently practice my Thai with the local shop owners. Mrs. Sirapon at the corner mart would smile politely at my butchered pronunciation, but I could sense something was off. It was not until my Thai colleague finally explained that she probably spoke better English than I spoke Thai, and my insistence on Thai was coming across as condescending. The jester catastrophe. However, wait, there is more. I sound like one of those bloody adverts, don't I? Therefore, you think, right, if speaking Thai is problematic, I would just use universal communication of hand gestures and mime. Wrong again, sunshine. Thai culture has turned subtle communication into an art form. While we Brits wave our hands about as if we are conducting an invisible orchestra during a particularly dramatic crescendo, what we consider animated storytelling, Thais interpret as barely contained rage. I once watched a well-meaning German tourist try to explain to a tuk-tuk driver that he wanted to go to the Grand Palace. The poor fellow was gesticulating wildly, pointing in various directions and making sweeping agricultural or architectural gestures to indicate the palace's grandeur. The driver looked genuinely concerned that this foreigner was about to have some sort of episode. The cultural role here is beautifully simple. If you are moving your hands more than a Victorian lady at tea time, you are probably doing it wrong. The translation app paradox. Modern technology has given us translation apps, which seem like the perfect solution, except when they are not. Google Translate once convinced me that I am looking for a pharmacy translated to something that apparently meant I collect medicine spirits in Thai. I spent 20 minutes being directed to various temples before someone realised I just needed paracetamol for a headache. These apps are brilliant for basic transactions, but tend to fall apart spectacularly with context matters. They are like having a drunk teenager as your translator, enthusiastic but wildly unreliable. The regional reality check. Here is where it gets properly interesting. Thailand is not one homogeneous English-speaking paradise. Bangkok's Sukhumvit Road might as well be London compared to rural Isaan provinces. In tourist areas like Phuket or Chiang Mai, locals have developed English proficiency out of economic necessity. Everyone from massage therapists to motorbike taxi drivers can negotiate prices, give directions and make small talk in English. It is impressive and practical. Nevertheless, venture into the rural areas and suddenly your assumption that everyone speaks English becomes about as useful as a chocolate teapot. Here, your terrible Thai is not only welcome, but also genuinely appreciated, even if it does sound like you are gargling gravel. The reverse culture shock. However, here is another twist that will knock your socks off. After years of navigating these communication minefields, I have realised that the biggest barrier is not language at all. It is our bloody-minded Western assumption that communication problems can be solved with more effort, louder voices or more elaborate gestures. Thais have mastered the art of comfortable silence and intrusive understanding. They will figure out what you need with minimal fuss, while we are busy over-explaining and accidentally insulting everyone in a 5-meter radius. The practical reality. So, what is the actual solution to this cultural Rubik's Cube? Start with English in urban areas, especially with anyone under 40 or in service industries. If they prefer Thai, they will switch, and you will know because they will actually respond to your Thai attempts instead of politely translating everything back to English. Keep your gestures minimal and open-handed. Think gentle suggestion rather than dramatic interpretation. Learn key Thai phrases for rural areas and genuine emergencies, but do not be offended if urban locals prefer English. Use translation apps for complex situations, but always have backup plans because technology loves to foul at the worst possible moments. The social hierarchy factor. What makes this even more complicated is Thailand's intricate social hierarchy system. Age, education, profession, and social status all influence communication expectations. A university-educated shop owner in their 30s might generally prefer English conversation, while an older vendor at a local market might appreciate your Thai efforts despite the linguistic carnage you have created. Reading these social cues takes time, and frankly, most of us expats spend our first few years getting it spectacularly wrong. The good news is that Thais are remarkably forgiving of well-intentioned cultural blunders. The technological integration. We are living in an area where real-time translation is becoming genuinely useful. Not perfect, mind you, but useful. The key is knowing when to deploy it and when to rely on universal human experiences like pointing at food, holding up fingers for quantities, or using the international language of confused facial expressions. The conclusion that changes everything. After all these years, I've come to realise that successful communication in Thailand is not about language mastery or cultural experience. It is about reading the room, staying flexible, and accepting that you will occasionally make a complete fool of yourself in spectacular fashion. The most effective expats I know are not the ones who speak perfect Thai or follow every cultural rule to the letter. They are the ones who can laugh at their mistakes, adapt quickly, and remember that everyone is just trying to get through their day with minimal fuss. So, next time you're standing in a Bangkok 7-Eleven wrestling with whether to attempt Thai with the university-educated clerk or risk seeming patronising by defaulting to English, remember this: The fact that you are even considering the cultural implications probably makes you more thoughtful than 90% of the tourists stumbling through Thailand's communication landscape. Finally, if all else fails, a genuine smile and a willingness to look slightly ridiculous will get you further than perfect pronunciation ever will. Now, if you would excuse me, I need to practice my apologetic wah for the next time I accidentally insult someone's intelligence while trying to buy a coconut. However, before I go, what is your most embarrassing communication moment in Thailand? Drop it in the comments below, as misery loves company, and we have all been there. Furthermore, if this video saved you from at least one cultural farpoo, please hit the like button and subscribe for more brutally honest expat reality checks. Bye bye.